Before I define my first interface, I'm going to take just a couple of minutes in this demo to start splitting the code in the LibraryManager project into multiple files known as modules, which I think will make it more readable and understandable throughout the remainder of the course. I'm going to cover modules in lots more detail in a later course module, so this will just be a very brief preview of things to come. In order to use modules, I need to tell the TypeScript compiler what module format it should use when compiling our code to JavaScript. I've specified the compiler options I'm using on the build task defined in the task.json file. I'll open that file from the .vscode folder. The compiler options are stored in the args array. I'm going to add a new one named --module. There are several module formats the compiler recognizes, and I'll discuss them all later in the course, but for right now I'm going to use the CommonJS format popular with Node.js developers. Okay, now that the compiler knows how to handle our modules, I can begin adding new code files to the project and treating them each as their own module. For the sake of simplicity, I'm going to keep all of my enums, interfaces, and classes in separate files. I'll go back to app.ts and cut out the category enum we already have. This will obviously break some things, but I'll come back and fix them once we have our new modules in place. I'll create a new file in the project named enums.ts and paste the category enum in it. When working with modules, we have to export from each module the things we want to be accessible to other modules. We use the export keyword to export them, and then we use the import keyword to use them inside another module. To export the category enum, I'll just type export followed by the name of the enum, category, inside curly braces. You'll notice that after typing that line, I get a red squiggly line under it. I'll hover over the line, and the error message tells me that I cannot compile modules unless the --module flag is provided. I just added the module compiler flag inside the task.json file. Visual Studio Code just isn't recognizing that yet. This is one of the early quirks with Visual Studio Code. Now that I have a new module for enums, I want to create a new module for interfaces. I'll add another new file named interfaces.ts. I want to have access to the category enum so I can use it on the interfaces I'm going to create. To make it available, I'll import it at the top of this file. I just use the import keyword followed by the thing I want to import inside curly braces. I then specify where TypeScript can find the thing I'm importing. I use the word from and then provide a relative path to the file that contains the category enum, but I leave the TS extension off of the path. Again, don't worry too much about the export and import syntax right now. I'll show you a lot more about them later. Okay, we're finally ready to define our first interface.